This is part 2, the continuation of chapters 1 and 2. We are ending at the bottom of page 30 and will continue on to page 31. Let us begin. John, of course, was accustomed to hearing his sister use interesting and expressive words. When she made her comment, all he said was, "Really? Why?" It will be tedious because it will remind him of all the times we've asked before. And it will be grim because it will remind him of Mama. John nodded. Then he said, yeah, right. Wow. Okay. Do you see? As I am sure you do. And as I am sure I do. The difference in the way the twins spoke. Tedious and grim versus, yeah, right. They were twins, these Templeton twins, but they weren't alike in every way. You will see more of this sort of thing as we proceed. Abigail said, "We need an exciting and commanding way to ask him. We need a way that will really get his attention." John agreed. And so the twins discussed various exciting and commanding ways of asking their father for a dog. John suggested writing a song about it. Abigail suggested sending their father a telegram. John suggested writing a note in invisible ink, lemon juice, which they would then miraculously make visible. None of these ideas seemed quite right. Both twins were silent in thought. Then John had an idea. "We can't ask him in a way that we think is excellent. It has to be in a way he'll think is excellent," he said. "We need some kind of device." John said device in a manner that was just like the way the professor said it when referring to his inventions. It was a kind of Templeton family code word for or private joke. Professor Templeton would come up from his basement workshop or arrive home from the university looking preoccupied and vexed. If the twins asked what was bothering him, he would say, "I'm having trouble with the device." Or, "The device isn't quite right yet." Or even, "I have come to believe that the reason the device does not yet work is that it needs a certain kind of device." Abigail now said, "Yes, great. And we shouldn't just ask for a dog in general. We should ask for a specific dog. Because then he'll know we've really thought about it." In fact, they had thought about it, and they did have a specific dog in mind. And so they convinced and refined their plan. The next day, when the twins came home from school, they flew into action. Note here that I do not mean that they lifted off the ground and started zooming around the house. I mean they got very busy. Abigail dug out of her desk drawer an old magazine with the photograph of the dog they both wanted. The twins had been carefully storing it for a year. She cut out the photo and pasted it onto a piece of cardboard. John, meanwhile, spent some time walking between the kitchen and the dining room with his head tilted back, looking up at the ceiling. If Abigail was quite clever when it came to words, which she was, John was extremely clever when it came to doing things, to devising plans, and putting them into action. His favorite thing to say was, "Let's do it and view it." He thought he had heard someone say this on a payphone in the lobby of a movie theater once, and John decided it was a good, brisk way of saying, "Let's try this idea out and then examine it and see if it works." Actually, what the person on the phone had said was, "Let's do it and then review it." But John misheard his snappier version. It's just as well, don't you think? Don't you believe, as I do, that things should be as snappy as possible? Oh, please, yes, you do. John said it about everything, no matter how important or silly. Would peanut butter be good on pizza? Let's do it and view it. If your shoes had no laces, how far could you run before they came off? Let's do it and view it. On a hot summer day, could you really fry an egg on the sidewalk? Let's, etc., etc. Before you could do and view anything, though, you first had to figure out what's what. This means that, in addition to figuring out what you wanted to accomplish, you also had to figure out how to accomplish it. That's what John did now as he surveyed the ceiling in the dining room and the kitchen. When he had successfully figured out what was the what, he went to the garage and got a fishing rod that the family sometimes took on trips to the lake. He made sure a hook was attached to the end of its line, got a small sinker out of the box of fishing supplies, and tied that to the end of the line too. He took them into the kitchen. What? What's a sinker? You're joking, surely. Clearly, a sinker is a lump of heavy metal. Take a second to view the picture of the fishing rod. Have you gone from A all the way to F? Usually shaped like a big teardrop. Its only job, obviously enough, is to sink, to carry the hook and bait, which are both usually very light, down to the depths of the water. Why? Because that is where the fish are. John, you see, was quite clever when it came to mechanical things and connecting little thingies to other thingies and to various doodads in order to solve certain problems. In this, he was much like his father. Abigail brought a photograph of the dog into the kitchen and joined her brother. Then the twins did a few other things, and voila! The device was ready. Questions for review. Number 1. When Cain and Abel asked Adam, their father, for a dog, and he said no, what was their response? A. Very well, Father, you know best. B. But Mom said we could. Or C. Please, please, please. Number 2. Which pair of words is most like the opposite of tedious and grim? A. Lively and cheerful. B. Lettuce and tomatoes. Or C. Lewis and Clark. Number 3. Is this it? The twins ask for a dog and the book is over? A. Yes, and I am extremely upset about it because I wanted to continue reading. Although, of course, I sympathize with the narrator for not wanting to write anymore. Or B. No, and I have no idea what will happen next, so I will happily continue reading, perhaps pausing for a moment to praise the narrator for his superb narrating. Or C. Maybe. I shall have to see if the pages that follow are completely blank or if they have printing on them. If they do have printing on them, I shall, without hesitation, proceed to read it with the greatest of pleasure. Let's read the small print. Voila is French. You pronounce it vous-la. It means behold, or there you have it. Other French words you may find yourself using in your daily life include restaurant, turquoise, and French. That is the end of chapter 2.